The year was 2147. The research vessel USS Horizon drifted silently through the darkness of space near Jupiter's orbit. Captain Samuel Wright stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the large viewing screen. The ship had been on a routine mission to study Jupiter's moons when their sensors picked up something unusual. "Captain, I'm detecting an unknown object about 50,000 kilometers ahead," said Officer Peter Collins from his station. "It doesn't match any known human craft." Samuel leaned forward in his chair. "Show me." The screen changed to display a distant object. It was clearly a ship, but its design was like nothing made on Earth. Its hull had an odd curved shape with no visible propulsion system. "It appears to be drifting, sir," Peter added. "No signs of engine activity. And there are some unusual energy readings coming from inside." Samuel took a deep breath. Humanity had wondered for centuries if they were alone in the universe. Now the answer might be right in front of them. "Contact Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them we've found what appears to be a non-human vessel. We are moving to investigate." Officer Olivia Martinez nodded. "Yes, sir. Sending message now." Samuel turned to his science officer. "Daniel, what can you tell me about that ship?" Daniel Clark studied his readings. "It's about twice the size of our vessel. The hull is made of materials not in our database, and there are definitely life support systems active inside, but they seem to be failing." "Sir?" Olivia interrupted. "Earth Command has responded. They've authorized us to investigate but advise extreme caution. No boarding unless absolutely necessary." Samuel nodded. "Bring us alongside, slow approach. Let's get a better look." As the USS Horizon drew closer to the alien craft, the damage became more visible. There were large holes in the hull, and parts of the ship looked burned. "Something attacked them," said Security Chief Mary Johnson as she studied the damage. "Those look like weapon impacts." "Life signs?" Samuel asked. Daniel checked his instruments. "Very faint, but yes. At least 3 distinct life forms. Their life support is critical and failing fast." Samuel stood up. "They need help. Prepare a boarding team. We'll need security, medical, and science personnel." "Sir," Mary objected. "Earth Command said—" "I know what they said," Samuel cut in. "But there are beings dying on that ship. We can't just watch and do nothing." Within 30 minutes, Samuel led a small team across to the alien vessel. They wore protective suits with helmets, both for safety and in case the atmosphere inside was different from Earth's. The team included Olivia Martinez for communications, Daniel Clark for scientific analysis, Dr. Lisa Wilson for medical support, and John Kelly, the chief engineer. They entered through one of the holes in the hull, their suit lights cutting through the darkness inside. The air was thin but breathable according to their instruments. The corridors were wider and taller than human ships, suggesting the aliens were larger than humans. "This way," Daniel said, following readings on his device. "Life signs are coming from what might be their control center." They moved carefully through the damaged ship. Strange symbols covered the walls, and the technology looked advanced beyond human understanding. Finally, they reached a large circular room with control panels and screens. There, they found the aliens. 3 beings lay on the floor. They were tall, nearly 7 feet, with slender bodies covered in smooth, pale blue skin. They had 4 arms each and large, oval-shaped heads with 3 eyes set in a triangle pattern. Their breathing was shallow, and blue fluid, possibly blood, seeped from wounds on their bodies. Dr. Wilson immediately moved forward, scanning them with her medical device. "They're in critical condition," she reported. "Severe internal injuries, blood loss, and what appears to be radiation poisoning. Can you help them?" Samuel asked. Lisa looked uncertain. "Their biology is completely different from ours, but some principles should be universal. They need fluids, pressure on wounds to stop bleeding, and treatment for radiation. Do what you can," Samuel ordered. For the next several hours, Dr. Wilson worked to save the aliens using basic medical principles adapted to their strange physiology. John helped repair some of the ship's life support systems, while Daniel and Olivia tried to understand the ship's computer to learn more about the aliens. Against all odds, the aliens began to stabilize. The first one to regain consciousness stared at the humans with all three eyes wide. It made clicking and humming sounds that were clearly speech. "We need to communicate," Samuel said. Olivia brought forward a device they had developed for potential first contact scenarios, a basic translation matrix that could analyze patterns in language. After several attempts, broken words began to come through the translator. Help. Why?" the alien asked. "You were injured," Samuel explained simply. "We wanted to help." The alien seemed confused. "Not know us. Could be enemy." "You needed help," Samuel repeated. "That's all that matters." The aliens spoke, among themselves rapidly. The translation device couldn't keep up, but it caught phrases like, "not possible" and "the weapon." When they turned back to the humans, one alien said more clearly, "You have the weapon, naturally." "Weapon?" Mary asked, her hand moving to her sidearm. "We mean no harm." The alien made a gesture with its forearms. "No, not that weapon. Inside." It pointed to its chest, then to the humans' chests. "Care for strangers, unknown beings, not your kind." The humans exchanged confused glances. "Do you mean compassion?" Daniel asked. The translator struggled with the word, but the alien seemed to understand. "Yes. Most dangerous weapon in galaxy. Help enemies, help strangers, not normal." John laughed softly. "Helping others isn't a weapon where we come from, it's just being human." "That is why. Dangerous," the alien replied. "Others will not understand. Will fear." As the aliens recovered more, they introduced themselves as the Voxari. They explained that they had been attacked by a species called the Xyloth after a trade dispute. In the wider galaxy, most intelligent species evolved through ruthless competition. The idea of helping potential competitors or unknown entities was almost non-existent. In Galaxy, the lead Voxari explained through the improving translator, species fight, trade, or ignore. Help without benefit? Never. Makes no sense. Not how life survives. That's sad, Olivia said. On Earth, cooperation helped us survive and advance. Different evolution, the Voxari said. Your planet's special. Made you special. But others will not understand. We'll think trick. We'll think weapon to make others weak. Samuel frowned. We just want peaceful contact with other civilizations. Be careful, the Voxari warned. News of humans will spread. Some will be curious, some will fear. Your kindness, your compassion will frighten many, because they do not have it, cannot understand it. As the USS Horizon prepared to take the damaged Voxari ship in tow and bring them to Earth, Samuel stood on his bridge looking out at the stars. Humanity had dreamed of meeting aliens for generations, but they never imagined that their most basic quality, their humanity, would be seen as the most terrifying weapon in the galaxy. 3 years had passed since the USS Horizon's first contact with the Voxari. In that time, Earth had established basic relations with several alien species, learning about the complex web of galactic politics. Now, humanity was ready to step onto the wider stage. The space station Nexus 7 hung in neutral territory, a massive structure where representatives from hundreds of worlds met to discuss trade, borders, and treaties. It was here that Ambassador Rebecca Morgan led humanity's first official delegation to the Galactic Confederation. Rebecca stood at the window of their quarters, gazing at the countless ships of different designs docked at the station. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and eyes that reflected decades of diplomatic experience on Earth, but nothing had prepared her for this assignment. Nervous? Asked Samuel Wright, now Admiral after his promotion following the Voxari incident. Rebecca turned and smiled. Terrified would be more accurate, but excited too. Samuel nodded. The Voxari warned us this wouldn't be easy. Which is why I'm glad you're here, Rebecca said. You and Olivia have the most experience with alien cultures. Olivia Martinez entered the room, followed by cultural anthropologist Kevin Patel and Colonel Frank Nichols, their military advisor. Olivia had spent the last 3 years studying alien languages and customs. "The council is ready to receive us," Olivia said. "I've been told we'll be introduced to representatives from the 12 major species first." "Any last advice?" Rebecca asked. Kevin adjusted his glasses. "Remember that most of these species evolved in environments where cooperation outside family groups was rare. What seems normal to us may seem strange or threatening to them." "Let's not keep them waiting," Rebecca said. The human delegation followed, their Voxari guide through the station's wide corridors. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved about. Some had multiple limbs, others floated above the ground. Some resembled Earth insects or reptiles, while others defied easy comparison. Many stopped to stare at the humans. Some seemed curious, others wary. They entered a vast chamber with a circular table. Representatives from 12 species sat waiting. The Voxari representative, Zeltar, made the introductions. "Honored members of the Confederation Council," Zeltar said. "I present the delegation from Earth, a newly discovered world in the spiral arm." Rebecca stepped forward. "Greetings. We come in peace and friendship, hoping to learn from your wisdom and share what we can offer." Her words were translated through devices at each seat. The reactions varied widely. Some representatives leaned forward with interest. Others shifted uncomfortably. The Zeloth representative, a mantis-like being with sharp mandibles, spoke harshly. "We have heard disturbing reports about humans. Is it true you helped the Voxari ship without any agreement or payment?" Rebecca nodded. "Yes, they were in distress. Helping others in need is basic to our culture." A murmur ran through the chamber. Several representatives exchanged glances. "And you expect us to believe this help came with no hidden motive?" The Zeloth continued. "No motive beyond basic decency," Rebecca replied, confused by the hostility. Another representative, a floating blue sphere that spoke in musical tones, interrupted. "Perhaps we should continue this discussion later. The humans must be tired from their journey." The first meeting ended abruptly. As they walked back to their quarters, Frank whispered, "That didn't go well." "They're afraid of us," Kevin observed. "Did you see how some wouldn't even look at us directly?" That night, as Rebecca reviewed notes for the next day's meetings, a soft chime indicated someone at their door. Samuel opened it to find a slender, pale alien with delicate features. "I am Thala of the Meridian Alliance," the alien said in a melodic voice. "May I speak with you privately?" Rebecca invited Thala in. The alien moved gracefully, settling onto a chair designed for human proportions. "I came to warn you," Thala said. "Your arrival has caused great concern among many Confederation species." "We've noticed," Samuel said dryly. "But we don't understand why. We've made no threats." Thala's large eyes blinked slowly. "It is not what you have done, but what you are. You must understand the galaxy better." Thala explained that most intelligent species evolved in harsh environments where resources were scarce. Those that wasted energy helping competitors were eliminated through natural selection. "Throughout the galaxy, species are pragmatic," Thala continued. "They act in self-interest. Trade is based on mutual benefit. Alliances are formed against common threats. But your species," Thala paused. "You help strangers with no guarantee of return. You risk yourselves for others with no clear benefit." "That's just being human," Olivia said. "And that is what frightens them," Thala replied. "Your behavior makes no evolutionary sense to most species. They cannot understand it, so they fear it must be a trick, a strategy, a weapon." Rebecca frowned. "A weapon? How could compassion be a weapon?" "They believe you use it to manipulate others, to create obligation, to weaken rivals by making them dependent." Thala's voice lowered. "Some think you are using empathic manipulation as a form of aggression." "That's ridiculous," Frank said. "We just want peaceful relations." "I believe you," Thala said. "My species, the Meridi, evolved differently too. We understand cooperation." But we are considered unstable and emotional by Confederation standards. Thala stood to leave. Be careful in tomorrow's negotiations. The Xyloth especially view your behavior as threatening. They believe you are using this empathic warfare to destabilize established power structures. What should we do? Rebecca asked. We can't change our basic nature. That is what frightens them most, Thala said at the door. A weapon wielded unconsciously is far more dangerous than one used with intent. After Thala left, the humans sat in stunned silence. Well, Kevin finally said, this explains a lot. Our entire social evolution is fundamentally different from most galactic species. How do we negotiate with beings who see our basic decency as a threat? Olivia wondered. Rebecca stared out at the alien ships visible through their window. We stay true to ourselves. If compassion is our weapon, then it's one I'm proud to wield. Tomorrow we'll show them exactly who humans are. Samuel nodded slowly. They fear what they don't understand. So we make them understand. As they prepared for the next day's crucial meetings, Rebecca felt the weight of responsibility. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community would shape relations for generations, and their greatest challenge wasn't technology or military strength, but something far more basic, convincing a galaxy of suspicious species that humans could truly care about others without ulterior motives. The irony, Rebecca whispered to herself as she reviewed her notes, is that the one thing that makes us human is the very thing that makes us alien to them. 6 months had passed since the first meeting with the Galactic Confederation. The human diplomatic team had established a small compound on Nexus 7. Progress in negotiations was slow but steady. Some species were warming to human representatives, while others maintained their distance. Rebecca Morgan sat in her office reviewing reports when an alarm blared through the compound. She rushed to the command center where Colonel Frank Nichols was already coordinating a response. What's happening? Rebecca asked. Frank pointed to a screen showing a ship in orbit around Nexus 7. A Xyloth vessel just experienced catastrophic system failures. Their engines are offline and life support is failing. Rebecca recognized the ship type. The Xyloth were among the most hostile toward humans, frequently arguing against Earth's inclusion in galactic affairs. Have they requested assistance? She asked. No, Frank replied. Xyloth would never ask humans for help. But we're picking up their distress signal to the Confederation. Their main power core is destabilizing. They have maybe 2 hours before it goes critical. Rebecca didn't hesitate. Prepare a rescue team. Frank looked surprised. Ambassador, these are the same Xyloth who called us emotional parasites last week. They've blocked every proposal we've made. There's still people in danger, Rebecca said firmly. How quickly can we reach them? Frank sighed but began issuing orders. We can have a team ready in 20 minutes. Commander Ryan Foster can lead the mission. Within half an hour, a human shuttle approached the crippled Xyloth vessel. Commander Ryan Foster, a former naval rescue specialist, led the team that included Dr. Allison Gray and 5 engineers. Xyloth vessel, this is Commander Foster from Earth Delegation, Ryan transmitted. We're here to offer assistance with your power core and life support systems. The response came in harsh clicking sounds translated into English. Humans not welcome. Xyloth handle own problems. Ryan exchanged glances with his team. Xyloth vessel, our scans show your power core will reach critical failure in approximately 90 minutes. We have the technology to help stabilize it. After a long pause, the Xyloth responded. Assistance accepted, but no weapons. The human team docked with the Xyloth ship. When the airlock opened, they faced 4 tall, mantis-like aliens with sharp mandibles and compound eyes. The Xyloth carried no visible weapons, but their limbs ended in natural cutting edges that could easily slice through human protective suits. Follow, one Xyloth ordered. Engine room damaged, many injured. The humans moved through corridors filled with smoke. The ship's interior was hot and humid, suited to Xyloth biology but uncomfortable for humans in their protective gear. They passed injured Xyloth who watched the humans with obvious suspicion. In the engine room, the situation was dire. The power core glowed an angry red, with radiation levels far above safe limits. 3 Xyloth engineers lay on the floor, badly injured from an apparent explosion. Dr. Gray immediately moved toward the injured aliens. "I need to treat them now," she said, opening her medical kit. The lead Xyloth stepped between her and the injured. "Why help? What humans want in return?" "They're hurt," Allison said simply. "I'm a doctor. Helping is what I do." The Xyloth's compound eyes studied her for a long moment before stepping aside. As Allison treated the injured Xyloth, Ryan and his engineers assessed the power core. "We can stabilize it," Ryan said, "but we'll need to reroute power through secondary systems. It's going to be tricky with your technology." The Xyloth engineer clicked its mandibles in what might have been nervousness. "Show what to do. Xyloth will perform actions." For the next hour, humans and Xyloth worked side by side. The humans provided technical advice, while the Xyloth, with their greater strength and heat resistance, implemented the solutions. Slowly, the core temperature began to drop. Meanwhile, Dr. Gray discovered that one of the injured Xyloth was actually the ship's diplomat, Kazel TK. More surprisingly, a smaller Xyloth huddled nearby was Kazel TK's offspring. "Your parent will recover," Allison told the young Xyloth gently. "The injuries look worse than they are." The young Xyloth made a soft clicking sound. "Why help enemies?" Allison smiled behind her helmet. "We don't see you as enemies, just people who need help." "Not understand," the young Xyloth replied. As the power core finally stabilized, a commotion broke out near the airlock. 2 Xyloth security officers were arguing with Frank, who had arrived with additional supplies. "No more humans," one guard insisted. "Already too many aboard." Frank held his ground. "We brought medical supplies your people need. Would you refuse them out of pride?" The standoff was interrupted when Kazel TK, supported by Dr. Gray, limped into view. The diplomat spoke rapidly in the Xyloth language. The guard stepped aside, allowing Frank to enter with the supplies. Later, as the human team prepared to return to their shuttle, Kazel TK approached Rebecca, who had come aboard once the crisis was over. "Humans acted unexpected," the Xyloth diplomat said. "No demand for payment, no strategic advantage taken." Rebecca nodded. "That's not why we helped." "Why then?" Kazel TK asked. "Because it was the right thing to do," Rebecca replied simply. Kazel TK's mandibles clicked rapidly. "This concept difficult. Xyloth would not help humans if positions reversed makes no logical sense." "Sometimes the most important things don't make logical sense," Rebecca said with a small smile. News of the rescue spread rapidly throughout the Confederation. Surveillance footage from the Xyloth ship showing humans risking their lives to save hostile aliens circulated on interstellar networks. The Confederation Council called an emergency session to discuss the incident. Some representatives argued that humans must be contained before their empathic warfare destabilized established galactic order. Others suggested that humanity might represent an evolutionary branch never before encountered in the galaxy. 2 days after the rescue, Kazel TK requested a private meeting with Rebecca. The Xyloth diplomat seemed troubled. "Something happening," Kazel TK admitted. "Since human rescue, I feel different toward humans. Not hatred, something unknown." "Perhaps gratitude," Rebecca suggested. "This feeling dangerous," Kazel TK clicked nervously. "Proves humans can change other species' thinking, makes others fear you more." Rebecca sighed. "We can't help being who we are." "That," said Kazel TK, "is what terrifies. Galaxy most about humans. Your weapon is not technology, it is your nature itself." As Kazel TK left, Rebecca wondered if humanity would ever truly find its place among the stars. Their greatest strength, their capacity for compassion, was seen as their most dangerous weapon by beings who could not understand it. Yet that same compassion made it impossible for humans to change their approach, even when it might be easier to do so. "We'll just have to show them," she whispered to herself. One rescue at a time. As months passed, humanity continued to expand its presence in the galaxy. Earth had established trading posts, research stations, and small colonies on several planets. The human tendency to help others without expecting anything in return slowly gained them allies but also created powerful enemies. In a secret meeting chamber on a remote asteroid, representatives from 7 different species gathered. They sat around a black table, their faces partially hidden in shadow. This group called themselves the Purity Conclave, and they viewed humanity as an existential threat. "The human contamination spreads," said a Xyloth general, his mandibles clicking with agitation. "3 of our colony worlds now have groups calling for cooperation with humans." "The same happens in Draxian space," rumbled a large reptilian being. "Young ones question our traditions of strength and dominance. They speak of human ideas like equality and mutual aid." The leader of the group, a tall, thin alien with gray skin and 6 eyes, raised a hand for silence. "The humans spread their weakness like a disease. Their compassion is a mimetic contagion that infects the minds of those exposed to it. If left unchecked, it will destabilize the power structures that have maintained order for millennia." "What? Do you propose, Sentinel Vex?" asked another member. Vex's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. "We must remove the source of the infection. The humans must be eliminated before they remake the galaxy in their image." Meanwhile, on Earth, Security Director Eric Bennett received a troubling report. He was a sturdy man with dark skin and keen eyes that missed little. His office walls displayed screens monitoring various human outposts across known space. "Sir, we've detected unusual communication patterns between several Confederation species," his assistant said. "Our AI analysis suggests these may be coded messages discussing coordinated action against human interests." Eric frowned. "Evidence of a conspiracy?" "It appears so. We've also had 3 separate assassination attempts against human diplomats in the past month, all made to look like accidents." Eric stood and walked to the window overlooking New Washington, Earth's capital city. "We need more information. Contact our allies. See if anyone knows about these secret communications." 2. His surprise, a message arrived the next day from an unexpected source. Kazizel TK, the Xyloth diplomat whose life humans had saved months earlier, requested an urgent private meeting. They met in a secure room at the Earth Embassy on Nexus 7. Kazizel TK's compound eyes darted nervously, checking for surveillance. "I risk much by coming here," the Xyloth said. "My own kind would execute me for betraying them." "What's happening?" Eric asked. "A group called the Purity Conclave plans to destroy humanity," Kazizel TK explained. "They see you as a disease infecting the galaxy with cooperation and empathy. These ideas threaten their control over their own populations." Eric nodded grimly. "We've detected unusual communications. Do you know their plans?" "Not specifically, but they will strike soon, and from multiple directions." Kazizel TK's mandibles trembled. "I do not understand why I warn you. By all logic, I should support my own kind. But since humans saved me and my offspring, I cannot allow your destruction." Eric placed a hand on the Xyloth's arm, a gesture that would have been unthinkable months ago. "That feeling you don't understand? We call it friendship." Kazizel TK jerked back slightly but didn't pull away. This proves their point. Humans change those they contact. While Eric worked to uncover the conspiracy, a crisis erupted on the frontier colony New Eden. Governor Michelle Parker received an emergency alert from the colony's medical center. "Governor, we have a serious situation," said Dr. Alan Walsh, via video link. "A Confederation scientific vessel visited yesterday. Shortly after they left, people began falling ill with symptoms we've never seen before." Michelle's face hardened. "How many affected?" 37 so far, and spreading rapidly. It appears to be an engineered pathogen that targets human biology specifically." "An attack," Michelle said. "Contact Earth immediately. We need medical support." "Communications are being jammed," Dr. Walsh reported, "and our long-range sensors show Confederation ships have created a blockade around our system. We're on our own." Michelle gathered her crisis team. The logical response would be to evacuate healthy colonists and abandon the infected to their fate. That's what most species in the Confederation would do. But Michelle proposed something different. "We establish strict quarantine protocols. No one leaves. That protects other human settlements. Our scientists will work around the clock to find a cure. Everyone helps everyone else. But Governor, protested one official, the death rate could be massive. Wouldn't it be more practical to save those not yet infected? Michelle shook her head. We don't sacrifice our people. Ever. And we'll share all our research with the Confederation in case this pathogen mutates to affect other species. As New Eden fought the engineered disease, Eric Bennett continued his investigation. Working with alien allies, including Casualty K, he uncovered evidence that the conspiracy reached the highest levels of several Confederation governments. They're afraid, Eric told Ambassador Rebecca Morgan as they reviewed the intelligence. Our way of thinking is spreading, especially among younger generations of several species. They're questioning the ruthlessly pragmatic foundations of their societies. Rebecca sighed. So they attack us because we're too nice? Essentially, yes. Their internal communications call compassion a mimetic contagion and cooperation a weakness that spreads. They genuinely believe we're destroying their way of life just by existing. On New Eden, the colonists made a breakthrough. They developed a treatment that slowed the disease's progress. More importantly, they shared their findings with all Confederation medical networks, even as they remained under blockade. This selfless action during crisis further alarmed the Purity Conclave. Sentinel Vex called an emergency meeting. The humans weaponize sacrifice, he told the other conspirators. Even under attack, they share knowledge that might help others. They encode cooperation into their cultural structures. If this spreads, our systems cannot survive. A Xyloth general slammed, a clawed hand on the table. Enough talk. Our fleet is ready. We will strike their main colonies simultaneously. What of the Confederation Council? Asked another member. They have not authorized military action. The Council is paralyzed by debate, Vex replied. Some members have already been influenced by human thinking. We must act now before more are contaminated. As the conspiracy accelerated its plans, Eric Bennett received a final message from Casualty K. Fleet movements detected. Multiple species. Targeting Earth and all major human settlements. Attack imminent. Eric rushed to the emergency command center where Rebecca and other leaders had gathered. We have perhaps 48 hours before they hit us, Eric reported. Our defenses aren't ready for an attack of this scale. Rebecca stared at the strategic display showing the approaching enemy fleets. Then we need to try something they won't expect. What? Asked Frank Nichols. Rebecca's eyes narrowed with determination. If compassion is our weapon, let's use it at full strength. The combined fleet of the Purity Conclave moved silently through space. Over 200 warships from 7 different species approached Earth and its colonies under stealth. Their weapons were armed, and their crews prepared for what they called a necessary purge. On the Xyloth flagship, Admiral Kraz watched the tactical display with his compound eyes. Time to human detection? 6 hours, Admiral, replied his second-in-command. By then, it will be too late for them to mount an effective defense. Good. Kraz clicked his mandibles. Begin final weapons check. Suddenly, a junior officer approached. Admiral, we have a problem. One of our diplomats has gone missing. KZLTK was last seen heading toward the human sector on Nexus 7. Kraz hissed in anger. The one who was rescued by humans. I feared this might happen. Increase our speed. We must strike before the humans can prepare. On Earth, Rebecca Morgan stood before the Emergency Council. Representatives from all human colonies attended virtually as she explained the situation. The Purity Conclave fleet will reach our space within 24 hours, she said. According to our intelligence, they plan to destroy all major human settlements simultaneously. Can we fight them? Asked the governor of Mars Colony. Admiral Samuel Wright shook his head. Not directly. Their combined fleet outnumbers our ships, 5 to 1. Even with our most advanced technology, we can't win a direct confrontation. Rebecca stepped forward. We don't plan to fight them. We have a different approach. She outlined her plan, and many council members looked shocked. That's your strategy? One asked incredulously. They're coming to annihilate us and you want To respond with kindness? Yes, Rebecca said firmly. It's exactly what they don't expect, and it's who we are. After heated debate, the council narrowly approved her plan. Rebecca immediately requested an emergency broadcast to all Confederation species. The Confederation Council, surprised by the request during a crisis, reluctantly agreed. As the Conclave fleet entered the outer solar system, Admiral Kraz received disturbing news. Admiral, the humans are broadcasting across all Confederation frequencies, his communications officer reported. Ignore it, Kraz ordered, probably begging for help. Sir, I think you should see this. It's unusual. On the screen appeared Ambassador Rebecca Morgan. She looked calm despite the approaching danger. To all species of the Galactic Confederation, she began, we know that a fleet approaches Earth with hostile intent. We know that some fear what humanity represents. But instead of preparing for war, we offer something else. Rebecca paused, then continued. Effective immediately, Earth will share all its medical, agricultural, and scientific knowledge freely with any species that needs it, regardless of their stance toward humans. Our databases are now open to all Confederation members. Admiral Kraz clicked in confusion. What trick is this? Rebecca continued. We understand that our way of life seems strange to many of you. What you call our weapon is simply our nature. We evolved on a planet where cooperation improved survival chances. Our strength comes not from dominating others, but from helping each other thrive. As Rebecca spoke, data streamed from Earth to Confederation networks. Cures for diseases that had plagued alien worlds for centuries. Agricultural techniques that could triple food production on barren planets. Clean energy technology that many species had sought for generations. This isn't a strategy, Rebecca concluded. It's who we are. Even now, as your fleet approaches to destroy us, we offer help without condition, because that's what humans do. The broadcast ended. Admiral Kraz stared at the blank screen. Proceed with the attack, he ordered. This changes nothing. But as the fleet moved closer to Earth, something unexpected happened. On 3 different ships, crew members refused to go to battle stations. Sir, we have reports of dissent spreading through the fleet. His second-in-command reported nervously. Many younger crew members are questioning the mission. Arrest them for treason, Kraz shouted. It's not just our ships, Admiral. Similar reports are coming from all Conclave vessels. Even more disturbing, Kraz began receiving messages from his own homeworld. The broadcast had reached Ziloth Prime, and for the first time in their history, public demonstrations were occurring. Young Ziloth were gathering in city centers, demanding their leaders reconsider relations with humans. Similar scenes played out across Confederation worlds. The free sharing of knowledge that could improve billions of lives had created a groundswell of support for humans, especially among younger generations already questioning the old ways. On the Draxian dreadnought, Captain Vor faced an open mutiny. I will not fire on a species that just gave us the cure for scale rot, declared his weapons. Officer, a disease that has killed my family members for generations. In the Meridian sector, the entire defense fleet broke away from the Conclave, declaring they would protect human colonies in their region. As the Conclave fleet approached Earth, nearly half their ships had slowed or stopped entirely. Communication channels filled with debate and argument. The carefully planned attack was falling apart. Admiral Kraz received a direct transmission from Sentinel Vex. The attack is compromised. Too many ships are hesitating. We must retreat and regroup. Kraz smashed his control panel in fury. The humans have done this. Their mental contamination has spread further than we thought. Back on Earth, Rebecca received updates on the Conclave fleet's disarray. They're breaking formation, Eric Bennett reported. Many ships are turning away. And the rest? Rebecca asked tensely. Still approaching, but slower. They seem to be debating rather than preparing to attack. Samuel Wright shook his head in amazement. Your plan actually worked. You fought a fleet with kindness. Rebecca smiled. Not my plan. Humanity's nature. We just showed them who we really are. 2 days later, A Confederation peacekeeping fleet arrived to separate the remaining Conclave ships from Earth. The immediate danger had passed, but the greater change was just beginning. Across the galaxy, the revelation of humanity's weapon, their natural inclination toward compassion and cooperation, had indeed transformed societies, not through conquest but by offering an evolutionary alternative that many species found surprisingly appealing. 1 month after the averted attack, Kazal TK stood beside Rebecca as they addressed the Confederation Council. The chamber was packed with representatives from all member species. For too long, we believed strength came only from dominance, Kazal TK said, his voice steady despite the historical nature of a Xyloth speaking in defense of humans. Humans show another path, that helping others creates strength for all. Rebecca looked out at the assembled representatives. Some still regarded humans with suspicion, but many more showed interest and even hope. "We don't ask you to become like us," she said, "only to accept that different evolutionary paths can lead to different values, and all can have merit." As they left the chamber, Kazultki turned to Rebecca. "When my people first encountered humans, we were terrified of your compassion. We called it your most deadly weapon. And now?" Rebecca asked. "Now we understand," Kazultk replied. "It is deadly. To hatred, to needless competition, to the idea that we must struggle alone. Perhaps the galaxy needed such a weapon all along."